Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to the center stage interview of Global Thought Leaders. I am Madhulika Ketri, your host for today, and COO, Director, and co founder of Independent Directors Institute, which is an initiative by RightSource Global. So, Global Thought Leaders is a podium where leaders like you and I exchange their expertise, ideas, and thoughts so that we can grow together. Today, on center stage, we have Mr. Kailash Subramanian. Welcome, Kailash, to the center stage interview. Kailash is a strategic and dynamic leader and has been providing his expertise, thoughts, and directions to all those organizations where he's been working all throughout his over 2 decades of experience. In all his 20 plus years of experience, he has been primarily accruing several years of specialty expertise in various fields of business administration amongst various industrial sectors, both as an employee as well as a consultant. And over the years, he has also been very active in improving workplaces, their conditions, and environments through consultation research. As a part of this, he has been serving as a consultant and faculty in pioneer educational institutions in the field of environmental health and safety consultancy and research. It's a pleasure having you here, Kailash, today.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's a great pleasure to be here on the center stage interview today.
So, Kailash, we've been hearing a lot about organizations that are struggling recently. So, what do you believe are some of the causes of certain organizations' difficulties?
Actually, there could be multiple causes, but I would like to highlight here three causes that are predominant for the organizations to have a struggling. The first one that I feel lacunas in corporate governance. So basically, every organization has a leadership vision and mission. And the organization behind these visions and mission, of course, the top leaders and the key management professionals. So these people, are their visions and missions match with the organizational vision and mission is a big question. So if this doesn't match, there arises a lot of struggle. The next thing I would highlight here is the authorities of controls. So as far as the leadership and the key management professionals, so the authorities are well defined. If not defined, then it's a problem. Again, if the authorities are defined, what is their authorities used? How it is used? So basically, are they using it responsibly? So if they are not using it responsibly for the growth of the organization, then the second issue starts. Of course, as many of them say, transparency of the board business is very, very essential. So here, if the organization is not transparent in terms of its board management, it becomes a big issue. Finally, in the corporate governance, I would like to touch upon the ethics of the corporate, the individuals, and the group. So every organization has a corporate ethics and guidelines. Of course, the individuals and group ethics is also very important. We should understand if this is well defined. If it is well defined, are they well adapted? They are not well defined or not well adapted. There comes the next issue for these struggles. And of course, every organization has to undergo a change management. So this is my second highlighted point. Whether organizations are adapting changes according to the business and market needs. If they are not adapting the changes, that is one of the biggest reasons for the struggles. And of course, if they are undergoing a transformation or change, what is the effectiveness of the transformation or change that the organization is undergoing? Is it well streamlined? If it is well streamlined, struggles are going to be less. Else, again, the struggles are going to be more. Finally, I would like to touch upon the risk management, the third topic that I want to highlight. If the organization has a good risk management approach or a system, then the problems and struggles are going to be less. And how well is this risk management integrated with its natural business operation? So in terms of the composition of board, has enough members with risk management, knowledge, and experience. Key management personnel of the organization, are they aware about the risk management and its integration with the business operations? And how well they integrate each one of these risk management and business operations together is a key point for reducing the struggle. Of course, the risk management is concerned. Are the risks identified? Well, are there any gaps in the risk identification? So, are the preventive and corrective measures effectively identified and adapted? So, if that is the case, if they are well adapted, the struggles are going to be less. And of course, I would like to touch upon the risk education here. If the organization trains all its individuals at various levels on the risk that are available to the organization and how they are identified, how they are dealt, and how they are controlled. If that such kind of a training is available, so this provides the natural risk management operation of the organization. So if they conduct simulation exercises, some mock drills of the risk activity, actually not incident, but could have could make incidents in the future. So in such a situation, these mocks and simulation exercises of training could help the organization to reduce the struggles. Finally, we would like to understand every organization, whether it's a proactive organization or a reactive organization in terms of risk. Over a timeline, how they look at risk. What is the risk anticipation? So when they are anticipating a risk well in advance, and when the risk is incident, so there is a time between the anticipation and the incident, they are well managed usually. If this is not anticipated well, the organization becomes a reactive and doesn't have enough time to respond. And that's the problem for the struggle. What is the risk appetite of this organization? Can it accept high risks, low risks, medium risk? What kind of risk can this organization accept? And how well are these organizations tuned to respond to each of these risks? So these are very important points that we need to understand in terms of risk management and its implications on the organization. So the better the risk management organization, the less is the struggle, that I believe. And of course, the next is how to handle the consequences of the risk. So as you know, there is an adversity quotient, which is very, very important for every other leadership of this organization. If the adversity quotient is well utilized and everybody is high in the adversity quotient, so this organization has every opportunity to break the struggle and come out of the struggle. So I think I have answered your question appropriately.
Well, thank you, Kailash, for your insight on organizational difficulties. And as someone with extensive, experience in the human research function, what are some of the key HRD concepts that you believe will enrich an organization?
A great question. So, with respect to the HRD, usually it is considered as a functional section or a functional organization in every other company or organization or business unit. But actually speaking, HRD is a business function. Basically, the organizational structure and its changes from time to time is a very important factor that should be considered at the business level and not as a functional level. So an organization can be a functional organization or a divisional organization, or it could be a matrix organization. A matrix organization is far better to integrate both the functional and divisional organization. How is this organization utilizing this organization structure of functional, divisional, or matrix organization is very important, of course. And the functional levels of the various functions, for example, human resources, finance, marketing, or other functions, how well they are on the vertical, and what level of a position or key management personnel is available for each function. So is it going to be a director level position, or it is going to be limited to a general manager position, or it is going to be a middle level manager position? All it depends upon the organizational structure. So which function, what level of the positions are fixed in this organizational structure becomes very, very important. Some organizations are flat, some organizations are having too many verticals. So how it is going to be aligned? And of course, how the spans, that is 4 spans of control, accountabilities, influence, and support are going to be allocated to each of the individuals, especially the key management personnel in this organization. This is very, very important, because how the organization should be behaving in a particular business scenario is well defined by only these 4 spans. And the next is the policy alignment. How the individuals or the managerial policy alignment or key management personnel's policy alignment with the organizational policies. If this alignment is not matching, of course, it becomes a great challenge for this organization to sustain its business over a period of time. Finally, this organizational right sizing is very, very important concept. How to build an organization from small level to the bigger level, or from bigger level to smaller level, based on the business requirements of every day. Of course, there are other HRD functions that I believe are very important. The one of them is right hiring. Are we hiring the right candidates fit for our organization? So if it is right hiring, it is going to help our organization. And of course, the key performance management is the next agenda that I will take up, wherein we need to have a competency-based HR management, which is very, very essential for this organization to perform in excellence. Every individual is defined with a key performance indices. So if the performance indices are very clearly defined, we can evaluate the individual's performance for the organizational success. Of course, the other important criteria that we should understand is usually this performance appraisal or a performance management is fit in a normal curve. Of course, this curve is usually skewed to the right or left, but most of the organization don't consider this skewedness of this normal distribution to the right or left. This basically depends upon the performance of the organization. So the performance of the organization should be well aligned with the performance of the individuals. Finally, human resource development also has a very important criteria for the organization to be considering its HR culture. So the learning and development, employee engagement. So these are the 2 important things. So the learning and development develops the individual members to form the second line of management, and of course, the future organization by itself. Employees should be engaged positively, and this positive engagement of employees will help us to establish a long-term sustainable human resource culture of this organization. Finally, we need to give a value proposition to each and every employee, thereby their motivation levels and their skills and competencies are well utilized by the organization for its successful performance. Working conditions are very important for this organizational HR culture. So safety, health, and environment are very, very important criteria in certain cases, especially in factory, mines, and other workplaces where the workplaces are having the 4M. I think I have covered up sufficiently for these HR approaches, which could help this organization to sustain its business and culture over a long period of time.
I couldn't agree more with you, Kailash, on your insights on HRD concepts. So CSR and ESG are, the latest buzzwords in the industry and have kind of increasingly important to business today, right? So have you been able to contribute to them at your current organization or previous organizations? And if so, how did you contribute to your organization's CSR and ESG efforts?
A great question. So I currently work for a private limited company. In this company, we have the ESG, which is driven from our corporate. As far as India is concerned, so I am the ESG leader for our India operations. In this, as a leader, my roles are in key fixing the short-term and long-term objectives for the 17 ESG elements and accordingly planning the resources and implementing actions for achieving set objectives. And of course, I form teams and engage employees actively for the target achievement. For example, in recent times, for the affordable and clean energy activities, we have gone to a level of 80% of energy through renewable forms, so that now our 80% of energy is renewable. Thereby, we could reduce our carbon footprints and the CO2 neutralization. So this helps our organization as a ESG initiative. In due course of time, we are planning to slowly implement each one of these elements, 17 elements, and derive the ESG excellence performance in our company. That's where I support in my organization. As far as the CSR is concerned, actually, I am here playing the CSR committee secretary role, which is the leader of CSR committee, actually involving all the board of directors who are approving the CSR activities and the elements of the CSR, including the policy and organization of this CSR. Basically, the CSR policy and organization was well derived by me starting from 2014 onwards. And we are handling a CSR budget of 2 crores per annum. In this, we have formed 2 committees, mainly the CSR steering committee, which comprises of the board of directors, and a CSR execution committee, which is a team of people who are leading the each CSR activities at different levels and different ends. So basically, we also form some CSR subcommittees where, for example, a women's subcommittee, which is very important for the diversity and inclusion, and the employees CSR subcommittee, which propose their ideas and to the execution committee. Finally, as an executive committee secretary, I receive all this, and as a secretary of the CSR steering committee, I propose all these activities to the board and get it approved. And of course, based on the approval, we execute these CSR activities at different levels, different locations of India, and end result, we are not only doing the CSR spending as per the Companies Act, but rather we are also enhancing our ESG targets or objectives through these CSR activities, like, for example, the partnerships to achieve the goals, clean water and sanitation, gender equality, reduced inequality, good health and well-being. I think I have explained my roles, ESG and CSR in my company.
So, Kailash, there is a lot of discussion in the industry today about workplace culture, right? In your opinion, how can an organization foster a culture of well-being?
In my purview, a good corporate governance system, along with a fit risk management system and an excellent HRD system and approach, actually frames the culture of the organization in bird's view. However, the health and well-being culture falling into the arena of human resource management, and it is very important to foster the health and well-being culture at work. I precisely feel that there are three things that we can do to do the health and well-being culture at work. The first one is a promotive and preventive approach, wherein we give health awareness training to all our employees on various fronts, including the diet and nutrition, exercises, and then what are the things like yoga. So whatever is we can train our employees promotively. So these things are used for the employees to get themselves educated and make themselves aware about the health and well-being, what they can contribute and how they can improve it. And of course, as a next step, preventive, we need to do a set of preventive healthcare programs, like for example, the workplace risk monitoring and the biomonitoring, and some healthcare programs like hearing conservation program, heat stress prevention program. So these are some of the examples that I have told you. These are some of the preventive programs that we do. We can create recreational camps that are really helping the employees to undergo exercises like yoga, meditation, and other dance exercises, etc., which will avoid health risk. Of course, we do need health screening and diagnostic testing, which is also a part of preventive health care, where we are checking our employees for any abnormalities. The next thing that I would like to highlight is the curative health program, where we give medical treatments to our employees, follow up their medical treatments, and in case of stress-related issues or other issues, we need to proactively counsel and follow up these employees periodically so that they are curing and able to sustain their health and well-being in the organization. Finally, we do have the rehabilitative health care, where we need to have the reconstructive therapies like exercises and reallocation of fit work to them or fit job to the persons who have got either disabilities or got impairment, permanent impairment. So these can help these employees maintain their health and well-being. Of course, we need to consider redesign of their new workplaces as well, according to their impairment or disabilities. Hope I have explained you my purview on this maintaining health culture in an organization.
Well, thank you, Kailash, for that. So you are a CI Excellence Award Initiative lead auditor. So could you please elaborate a little bit about how that experience went for you?
Let me just give you an overview of the CAI EHS Excellence Awards. This is a program that has been initiated by the CAI South India Division for past so many years, maybe around 15 years old activity. So this is actually a initiative wherein 150 plus organizations participate to understand what levels they are in the EHS excellence performance in the rating of 5-star to 1-star. So what level they are, that is what they wanted to understand. And this CAI helps them to evaluate each one of these participant organizations and evaluate and fit them in one of these stars of star rating of these EHS Excellence Awards. I, being one of the lead auditor in this EHS Excellence Award initiative, I have contributed myself to the revision and reformation of the EHS Excellence Award checklist, which is a big activity containing around 200 to 300 items in this. So we have reviewed and revised each one of these elements of this EHS elements, including that of the sustainability, and we have restructured this for the betterment of the evaluation. The another key role that I played in this EHS Excellence Award is I strategically devise the training program and certification program of auditors. Why do we need a training program and certification program of the auditors? Because the auditors have variable experience and competencies. In order to match their competencies and experiences and skills to the requirement of this CAA EHS Excellence Award initiative, we have started this program, and which has helped us to standardize the auditor quality. And finally, this helped the CAI to make an easy process of evaluating industries in a standard pattern. So with this, I supported the CAI EHS Excellence Award. And of course, as an auditor, I have audited several industries on their EHS excellence performances over the several years. And these are my experiences with respect to the CAI EHS Excellence Awards.
I'm sure that would have been an amazing experience, Kailash. Moving on to the next one. So, serving on a board is a difficult and responsible task for anyone. So, what do you believe are some key characteristics that have elevated you to a board level leadership?
Beautiful question. Actually, I believe there are two things that in bird's view I would like to cover for my for me being a board member now. So these are my leadership qualities, and the other one is my personal qualities. As a leadership quality, I believe that I have competence and command over the subject matter. Whenever I am taking any issue of the board, or to that extent any function of the management, I always believe that I am competent and I have the command over the subject matter. In case if I do not have that confidence, I always go back and take my readings and learning process to improve myself for the developing competence and command over the subject matter. Second thing that I believe as a leader is belief in facts and figures. Whenever I am handling a certain subject matter, I just don't go behind anything without data. So I always look for facts, figures, and data, without which I don't conclude or come to a conclusion. So this is my second quality that has helped me in coming to a board level. The next one is I always be ethical and always go with the ethical approaches anywhere and everywhere. I don't go beyond that. And the next one that I believe is very important is use my wisdom for options and priorities. That is, in any subject matter, I believe always there are multiple options that we can have, and which is the best option and what could be the priority of the options is very, very important that I always consider. The next thing is I am always honest and trustworthy. So every now and then I update all my members whom I work with on the board. I give this trustworthiness, and I always, being an honest person, give the facts and figures to them for their better understanding. I next believe that taking a defensive approach is one of my key strengths for being elevated to such a board level. What is defensive approach? So whenever I'm handling any subject matter, I am always not offensive. That means I don't go quickly or swiftly. I don't move. I don't take actions very swiftly. I take little time. As I explained you, I consider facts and figures, competence of myself, options, priorities, all these things, and take a defensive approach to explore the subject matter. The next thing that I have a good quality is I am very firm in taking judgments. So being a leader, I always take all these analysis and evaluation before I come to a conclusion or a judgment. So this judgment will be a firm one because of earlier steps that I undertake. I also use my key skills like negotiation and conflict resolution many a times to resolve issues and conflicts. Negotiation helps me to consider where are the flaws or gaps that could be filled in and how an process of subject matter can be made better for the organizational benefit. Finally, I take calculated risk. You can understand without data and figures, I cannot understand the risk in any subject matter or any process. So I always take calculated risk. And without this calculation of risk, I don't do any kind of a decision or action. As far as my personal qualities are concerned, I am always a patient person. Patience. I follow patience at every point of time. I give opportunity to the opponent and I actively listen and I take facts and figures to convince them. So I'm always taking these two steps of patience and active listening. I'm always approachable, easily approachable for any member. I am very human considerate. So I always consider human factors and their limitations. I always have a perseverance, a firm determination to complete any action. I always have a strong communication and follow the KISS. That is, keep it short and simple. I always have the uh, I always have the thought for a win-win. Either I win and my opponent also wins the case. So it is always a win-win case that I always take into my personal consideration. So these are my personal qualities and my leadership qualities that has helped me to elevate myself to a board level position.
Well, thank you, Kailash, for your wonderful thoughts and for sharing your experiences and ideas on various things today. It's been a pleasure. I would like to close this thing on an ending note, and if you can actually throw some light on how was your experience with all these initiatives that RightSource Global has been doing, especially the Center Stage Interview and Independent Directors Institute.
Actually, this was totally a new journey for me through IDI, which is very good. Actually, as a board level, in order to achieve a board level position, your IDI course was very, very useful. I could get many new orientations and competencies and dimensions for handling the board. So it has been a great experience with IDI course and of course this center stage interview. It is a very great opportunity for me to be here. Thank you once again.
Well, thank you, Kailash, for the kind words. It's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your thoughts, ideas, and we couldn't thank you more for spending your time here and giving us an insight about organizations culture, HRD, ESG, and CSR. Have a wonderful day. Thank you once again from Team IDI. Thank you all for watching today's Center Stage with Kailash Subramanian. If you want to learn more about Independent Directors Institute, please visit www.independentdirectorsinstitute and RightSource Global Initiative. Take care and have a fantastic day. Thank you.